Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dojo Live. Today is Thursday, October 7th, 2021. This is the last show for this week. I'm Tulio Siragusa, broadcasting from Southern California, joined by Kim Lantes in Hermosillo, Mexico, and Carlos Ponce in Cuernavaca, Mexico. Welcome back, guys. It's been a great week so far.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed speaking to some awesome guests, and I am sure today will not disappoint. We have Jesse Solomon, who's the co-founder at Mickey, joining us today. Hey, welcome to the show, Jesse. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So I must admit, when we first looked at the title and we saw Mickey, we started thinking of that song, Hey, Mickey, You So Fine. And probably some of us are aging ourselves singing that song, but we're excited to learn all that we can because we love the name. So before we go into the topic today, we had a theme twice this week about modernizing old school things. The first one was on Tuesday and now today. So we're always excited about learning new ways that old things are being done in a digital way. So we're going to learn that today.
Specifically older than commodities. I mean,
and commodities is like exactly. How do you modernize that? So, but before we go into that topic, let's get to know you a little bit, Jesse. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, happy to be here. My name is Jesse Solomon. I'm from Chicago. I'm currently based out of Miami, but I'm coming to you live from New York City today. My background is in the entertainment industry. I was actually a talent agent at WME. William Morris is the largest talent agency in the world. And my business partner and I had a department there doing brand licensing. So we would take big Hollywood brands and create touring shows in regions of the world that they hadn't necessarily been to before. So think like Harry Potter live in concert with Warner Brothers, or La La Land with an orchestra. We did that with Lionsgate. So before working at WME, I went to music school at the University of Miami. I studied music business and vocal jazz performance there. I was also promoting music festivals and live events at Billboard and Live Nation. I'm also a 2-time cancer survivor, which is a big part of my story and was a major catalyst for me to leave my job and pursue something bigger with my life. And I left with my business partner, Alex Ravens, in January of 2019 to start Mickey.
Wow. We were like wondering, how did you go from there to this?
Come on.
Yeah, no, it felt like a logical next step. No, the truth is,
of course it did.
Yeah, we named it Mickey after Mickey Mouse because we were brand licensing guys, and we thought we were going to create a tech-enabled marketplace for brand licensing, connecting manufacturers to brand owners online, and be like a one-stop shop for, contracting, royalties, etc. Not just in entertainment, but food and beverage, digital, fashion. And we just found there was a better opportunity and pivoted. We met the president of Alibaba, and through that experience realized that there was this opportunity to build Alibaba, but for American suppliers. And we started marketing to US-based suppliers saying, are you, looking to export? Sign up for Mickey to sell your product overseas. And one of the first guys to sign up sold logs. And we were just like, how did we get here? What is this? We thought it would be like a derivative version of Alibaba where there's manufacturers making bobbleheads and board games. And so we called him and we were like, hey, is this, Steve? He said, yeah, what's going on? I said, you put trees on our marketplace. Was this a mistake? And he said, you guys said sign up for Mickey to sell your product overseas. People want my logs overseas. You don't sell logs? And we're like, we do now. And we found our first customers, the Dole Pineapple Factory in Subic Bay in the Philippines. And we brokered the deal. And it was like a weekly recurring program that, venture capitalists are always looking for recurring revenue. And we realized that there was this massive opportunity to sell American natural resources to regions all over the world that, couldn't get their hands on them.
Amazing. You know, we're in tech, and we talk to tech luminaries, over 400 different interviews, always talking about the next sexy thing. This is brilliant. I mean, like, how do these guys sell their products out there, right? So you're reinventing the way commodities are sold in the marketplace. All right, let's go right into the topic today, because there's a lot to learn and unpack. Kim, please introduce the topic today.
Yeah. The topic today, and thank you, Jesse, for being here, as chosen by you, is commodities and technologies, bringing an antiquated, I pronounced it properly that time, antiquated industry online. What does it take to disrupt an antiquated industry like commodities trading? So you yourself sort of stumbled across this aha moment, but why might that be? Like, why did you choose this particular topic, and why is now the perfect time for modernizing?
Yeah, so suppliers in this business are still using fax machines. And customers all over the world want to get their hands on US natural resources. We're one of the largest producers of natural resources in the world, but for whatever reason could not get access to them at the right price consistently. So we wanted to connect those independent suppliers to foreign buyers and make it a seamless experience for both parties. At first, we toyed around with various business models like a matchmaking service or a software service for suppliers to just pay a fee each month to have their products go overseas. But nobody would pay for that. Nobody needs that. What they need is a market maker who's actually going to finance the transaction, handle the logistics, and move the product from point A to B. So we had to run this business the way that it had been running for hundreds of years before we could start to modernize it, and hired experts in each of these commodity verticals to help us do that. And so the vision here at Mickey is a marketplace to buy and sell commodities, where manufacturers from any part of the world can come on to the Mickey platform and purchase the raw materials that they need to make whatever it is that they make. So on the supply side, we're empowering these independent suppliers of natural resources to go over the top of traditional sellers and brokers and direct to those end customers. And the way that we facilitate that is through physical commodities traders. So today you can think of us like a tech-enabled platform for global trade, where traders can facilitate their business online. And this doesn't really exist because there's no tech in this industry. We bring trucking, shipping, procurement, and all of that into one centralized platform, allowing buyers to just seamlessly purchase their product online. Think of like Glencore, a very large trading company, but just in the cloud. We're taking a Compass style approach. If you know Compass Real Estate, where we're acquiring brokers to get supply and demand on the platform. And once buyers get comfortable with the Mickey brand and they're purchasing online, they're paying online, they're tracking their orders on our platform. Next thing you know, you have suppliers uploading their inventory and pricing it directly on our platform. And we're building our technology deeper and deeper into the transaction and automating more of the process. Next thing you know, you have a customer making an order. We match that to a supplier with the lowest priced inventory, kind of like Uber matching you to a driver.
I love it.
So that is
a lot of the physical side. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also imagine, especially if we're talking about international trade, there's a legal side, like as far as restrictions and certain requirements that companies need to fulfill. For example, I live in Mexico. I cross the border into the United States all the time, and I can't even like carry a walnut with me, right? So if you're talking about logs or something that that's I'm assuming is highly regulated, are you helping with that as well?
Yeah, so we have to get what's called a phytosanitary certificate from the USDA. We get a bill of lading from the port. There are all these various documents that you need to get done in order to ship a product. So it is very thorough, and there's a lot that goes into it, which is why there's such an opportunity here to kind of bring it all into one place, rather than doing it all in phone calls and faxes and emails. And Mickey takes care of all those headaches for you.
You know, Jesse, in listening to you, you had hinted something about the manufacturer has a product and there's financing behind it. There's the logistics of getting it to the client. And I just started thinking, what does it look like today? What does that ecosystem look like? Are these different businesses, different capacities coming together on the platform? Can you just kind of maybe paint a picture of what it typically looks like to complete a transaction today, the old-fashioned way, and how are you bringing these in a way that's more automated and simplified with the platform? It'd probably be very helpful to just get that understanding. Absolutely. Not all of us understand commodity trading. I certainly don't. So I'm curious to see what that ecosystem looks like.
Absolutely. So if you're an independent supplier of logs in the Southeast United States, you might be selling to Georgia Pacific or an aggregator of your product for, say, 50 cents on the dollar. They're buying up from independent suppliers across the United States and selling to one large buyer, say China Building Materials. And then China Building Materials is disseminating that product to small and medium-sized manufacturers across China. What we are doing is going direct to that log supplier and direct to that small or medium-sized manufacturer in China, cutting out layers of aggregators or brokers or middlemen. And
okay, I'm not quite sure what went wrong.
Pay the supplier more for the product, and we're able to sell the product for slightly less because there's so many parties that we're cutting out. So that should give you a sense of how we're able to break into this business and kind of give a supplier who has a very tight timeline for manufacturing more product to be able to sell to someone overseas who might not be paying for 60 days. So we give them that seamless experience of delivering the product to the port rather than to Georgia Pacific's plant. And we pay them like they would get paid by Georgia Pacific, and then take care of all the hard parts of exporting that they might not be able to handle by themselves.
You know what I love about this too? Oh, sorry. I think we talked. This is a side point. Not only is there economical savings here, but I see ecological savings. Like there's less transportation. And I know this is sort of just a happy side effect, but I think the earth appreciates fewer trucks and trains and ships as well.
Yeah, no, a tree is a beautiful thing too, because when people always are scared of deforestation. And if you cut down a tree the right way, it grows back in 20, 30 years, depending on what type of tree. And then you've got another beautiful tree, and one is sucking carbon out of the air somewhere else. So it's actually great for the environment to deforest in the right way and thin the forest. And not, obviously like go into the rainforest and cut out all the good mahogany or whatever it is.
Jesse, I'm curious about something. Before we went on the air, if you remember, I told you that I had at some point in my life, I had an interest in the commodities trading scenario, and I got some training and all that. But back in the day, it was all like there was no so much technology as there was today. I remember that I used to subscribe to a newspaper in print called Investors Business Daily. That's where I got all the info, and I did my paper trading and all that. So because today there's so much technology, how would you say that this technology has modified the speed at which things happen for the regular, for the average run-of-the-mill investor in commodities, or has it at all? What do you think? What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, everything is instant now. I can't imagine how this was done before email. Commodities trading.
I was there.
Yeah, it's not such an old thing selling to China. China was closed to the rest of the world for a number of years, and everything in China was built out of cement rather than wood because they were not purchasing, trees from the United States. So if you have a wood house in China, it's like having a Ferrari in the United States. It's a sign of luxury. So yeah, things have definitely progressed rapidly. And we see that, becoming more and more of a thing in the near future. There are lots of companies entering the logistics space, and lots of investment going into B2B marketplaces. So we're, very excited about the near future.
Is commodities trading the same as futures trading? I'm sorry, Kim, just a quick question. I'm sorry. Is commodities trading the same as futures trading? I'm just curious.
So what we're doing is selling the actual physical product to a manufacturer who needs to make whatever they make. So
okay.
We sell cotton. We're selling it to a manufacturer in Vietnam who makes T-shirts, and they're sending it back. So that's the cycle of global trade. We're not trading on the price of cotton going up or down and trying to make margin that way. Although we will get into hedging if we take inventory risk in the future. But right now, most of the time, we're not.
Thank you.
Thank you. So my question goes back to what we're talking about, speed and just modernizing. My family's background is actually that of a sawmill. So when you were talking about logs, this immediately resonated with me. That's actually where I spent the first 5 years of my life. Very fun. But I think about my dad, and he's hilarious. He can cut down a tree. He can tell you anything, but ask him to call you via Facebook Messenger and you've got some trouble. So my question is, what are you doing at Mickey for people like my dad, right? You've got these users, but how are you securing that adoption? How are you addressing usability? We're talking about traditional, what is it, blue collar? I always get blue collar and white collar mixed up, but people who might not be comfortable with technology, but can definitely benefit from it.
Yeah. So I would bring your dad an order, and I would say, instead of bringing 10 containers of Southern Yellow Pine logs to this guy's mill, just bring it to the port and we'll pay you the same way that you get paid currently. You don't have to do anything different. You don't have to sign up for Mickey. You don't have to create a login. We're allowing the suppliers, who is kind of, sometimes a rougher demographic of the United States, to just do exactly what they know how to do, which is supply natural resources. And we make it easy and friendly for them to, work with our technology. We're just bringing them orders. And eventually, once they get comfortable with us, we say, here's your login, just sign in. And instead of faxing us your inventory list for the week, you can just put the price directly on the website. There's a little spot for that. And we walk them through it. We give them a demo. But the truth is that today we use these brokers and traders to facilitate that part of it for the supplier. So we're not relying on a supplier to use any of our technology. It's great if they do, but for now, we've used this broker method to acquire the supply.
Let's talk a little bit about the financials of all this, how people make money with this. Can you walk us through? So you've got these brokers that are representing the buyers, I guess, and finding those suppliers, and they build those relationships. But you've eliminated a few things in between. So how does the money flow now without those people in between? And are those people not happy that they're being, eliminated from the process? What has that been like?
Yeah. So in its simplest form, we're purchasing supply for, say, X. We are shipping it for Y, and we are selling it for Z, and we are making a spread in the middle. So, that is, how it's done. We're just taking arbitrage on each deal. And, we haven't upset many people yet because, we're acquiring the brokers and bringing them in-house and just allowing them to run their business at Mickey. And we're making it a great place to work. We're like the modern day trading company. They're getting a very clear split of their commission, and they can work wherever they want in the world. They don't have to wear a suit and go into the office every day. They can work remote and spend time with their families. So we're kind of catering to exactly what these guys want to be doing. And that's how we've been able to acquire, some of the best traders in the world coming from places like Citadel to work at, a startup with 24 people.
Yeah, it's smart. Like, you're looking at the industry, and I see it as like the proverbial frog and the boiling water thing. Like, you put the frog and you're here and you're just like slowly turning up the heat, get used to us. You're not throwing anybody in the boiling water, both with, users like my dad or the middleman and brokers. It's very smart.
Except the user doesn't die at the end.
No boiling death.
So that's a good thing.
No deaths.
I'm listening to when you first introduced yourself, talking about what you guys were intending to do initially with Mickey, which was basically like a major disruption of the agency model. You guys wanted to be like this huge, everything in one place kind of agency. And then the fact that you're acquiring all the brokers made me think similar to what Omnicom did with all the small agencies. They acquired them all, made this mega agency, global agency. Is that sort of the thinking? The more brokers you can bring in-house, the more those relationships you have, the more transactions you can make spread on, and also the more you can facilitate those transactions with the buyers. What's been the feedback from those buyers in terms of the experience? How has that changed for them? What's been the feedback about that?
Yeah, so it's basically a free acquisition of a business. Obviously, we pay traders a salary or what's called a draw against their commission to work here. But yes, you're spot on that we hire guys who have an existing book of business and an existing network of vetted suppliers that they've been working with for a number of years. And we're able to, facilitate their business at Mickey. And these buyers are, these are commodity products. So they're just happy to get their hands on them consistently at the right price because they are manufacturers and they have an import supply chain similar to how our suppliers have an export supply chain. So they can't take 1,000 containers at once. They need 10 a week in perpetuity. So they're happy as long as they can get their hands on the product at a good price, which is what we've, created for them.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got a few minutes left. Go ahead, Carlos. You have some question?
We don't actually interrupt Carlos. He's a couple seconds behind. Nobody looks for interrupting him.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I think there's
delayed.
some delay. There's some delay. Now, I am just curious if you are using your technology, if you are thinking of serving other markets that are not just the commodities, but maybe on the consumer side. I'm just curious if that's in the front burner or in the middle burner somewhere for Mickey.
Yeah, so we started with forest products, kind of like Amazon started with books. We figured that if we could nail the cheapest commodity vertical without losing all of our money on one deal, that was kind of like the heaviest lift logistically, that we could scale up into these different verticals. Just to give you a sense, a container of Southern Yellow Pine logs could be $2,500, and that's like 30, 60 trees all shoved into a container, including the trucking to the port and all these things and the manual labor. So it's very hard to make a profit given how much work that can be. We also are in the energy space, so we have a natural gas business selling to electricity companies. And the categories of, natural resources that we want to get into are metals, chemicals, and agricultural products. So we have started with forest products, quickly entered into energy because, it's not a physical commodity. And it's a different transportation method as opposed to the others that I mentioned. So rather than going on trucks and boats, it goes through pipelines underground. So we wanted to get a head start on building out that technology. And we have, a world-class tech team that's created some really cool tools for these traders to better do their jobs. But next up, we're looking to go into food, although we're in no rush because these markets are, forest products is a $36 billion a year export market. Energy is hundreds of billions. So we've got room to grow within these spaces before we need to go wide. So we're focused on going deep into those categories for now.
Nice. Congratulations.
Smart.
Great. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse, we have a few minutes left. I mean, we're about to wrap up, and I wouldn't want to end the conversation without asking you specifically about Mickey Trading, the company. What's the company culture like? What's important for you when it comes to bringing in the best people that you can find? What would you tell them if you want them to come work for you? And what constitutes Mickey's company culture, let's call it?
Yeah.
That makes it a great company to work for, I mean.
For sure. I am in charge of recruiting. So I'm very proud that we have 24 great employees, pretty distributed across the United States. There's 3 of us in Miami. There's a few in New York, a couple in San Francisco, a large contingency of our operations team in Portland, because that's where a lot of, forest products business resides. And we just believe that, people shouldn't have to be upset to go into work every day. Our team's excited. We cater to the needs of, each individual. We set up a co-working office. If they want to work in an office, we allow people to work from home if, they want to spend more time with their families. So I think through COVID,
Awesome.
being distributed has really been important and a key for us to attract the best talent and, keep people excited about building a future for commodities.
I love that. People shouldn't feel frustrated.
Great.
Or
Thank you
upset to
so
go to
much.
work.
Yeah.
We have to coin that quote.
That's a good one. Right.
According to Jesse, people shouldn't be upset to go to work.
Yeah, that's
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, you spend most of your time working, so you got to do something that you enjoy.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's tweeting material. Are you listening, Bea? Are you listening?
Exactly.
Bea
That's
is
why I
your
mentioned it.
audience development manager.
So,
Yeah.
Jesse, this has been a major change from historically what you were doing in the entertainment sector into becoming a tech entrepreneur or in the commodities business. What's that been like for you personally, making that transition? And what words of wisdom would you have to share for anyone who maybe went down a path in their career and they're kind of like not as motivated anymore, but this is, the devil is the devil you keep, right? So what would be the words of wisdom to say, hey, have the courage to make the change? What's that been like for you, if you don't mind sharing that with those who might be listening?
Yeah, I mean, I had no finance background or technology background or commodities background, and I lead our equity fundraising. And that was the scariest part for me going into this, was talking to investors who do this for a living and trying to convince them to give me millions of dollars to build a profitable company. And now it's my favorite activity. So you just have to, look that thing that's scaring you right in the face and just get out of your comfort zone. and have a plan. Don't just like quit your job and go for it. But if you're not enjoying what you're doing, definitely there's a lot of time in the day. You just have to use it wisely. So we really planned what we were going to do while we were at William Morris. Obviously, we ended up doing something way different, but we got really excited about starting something and building something of our own, and creating something scalable that didn't require hiring more people to grow, like the business that we were in. And I would say that it's paid off, and hopefully we'll continue to grow and become. I think this is just really the beginning. And we're about to hit that inflection point and really, do some damage in the next few years. So we're excited, and I would encourage anybody else to do the same.
Nice.
Jesse, thank you so much for being with us. Great words of wisdom. Go ahead, Kim. We're over time already. Go ahead.
Do you still do any of those jazz vocals? Because if you do,
of course he does.
I sing in the shower. I go to karaoke
privately
from time to time. Yes, a little bit here and there, but you can always do your passion for fun.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well, thanks for being with us today. Go ahead,
Jesse.
Carlos.
We've had numerous personalities from the entertainment world here on Dojo Live that have become tech entrepreneurs. So you're one of them, and they even have YouTube videos. So we'll look you up. If you're not there, you should.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few ex-recording artists. I think we even had a Miss USA or something on the show at one time, right, guys? Yeah, Shannon. I think so, right? So
we've had a couple of Hollywood actors that have become tech entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
so thanks for being with us. We really enjoyed speaking with, learned a lot. We wish you a lot of success. It's only the beginning for you guys, so congratulations.
Awesome.
This wraps up this week. Just stay with us as we go off the air in a minute. This wraps up this week for Dojo Live. We have coming up on Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, our recap show. We're going to recap all 3 shows from this week inside of 10 minutes. So if you missed it, don't fret. We'll have a recap in 10 minutes and remind you of all the good stuff we talked about. And then what else we got coming up for the week next week, Carlos?
Next week we only have one show, Tulio, because remember that next week is our all hands, and we're not scheduling a show on that day. And thus far, we only have one show scheduled. I set in stone, and that will be with Brent Oster. I hope I got that right. Oster at Orbi. It's an AGI platform. That's what we're going to be featuring next week right here on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Dojo Live. So join us. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you.